Hello everybody, welcome to Rewrite Your Reality with Reese. I am your host, and on today's video, God is infinite, manifest by choice. You see, there are questions that we have about manifesting that seem logical, but only to the three-dimensionally focused viewpoint that you contain. While you contain that viewpoint, obviously we are having a three-dimensional experience, it is not the only thing that you are, because you are everything. Part of being that everything is recognizing yourself as that everything that contains any and every viewpoint that you have. So we have questions like, why are we, or what is the point of reality shifting billions of frames per second, the continuity that we experience, through ages, through days of the week, years, stories being told, how and why is this occurring? And really, when I believe something, how is it that some people that I've seen, or maybe I'm questioning it, that one reality experience is more difficult to feel as real, as in the imaginational experience feels less real than the three-dimensional experience. So shifting to knowing imagination is the greater reality can be quite tricky. Why do we have all of these thoughts? Well, here's the thing. Breaking it all down today, you are source, you are reality. The idea that one feels more real is another story, another belief system that is created billions of times through these billions of frames, over and over as you contemplate that story as reality. Not that the story is reality. You are reality contemplating yourself, because as reality, as you are contemplating that story as you, or as reality, as God. You're contemplating that story as God. As God, if you were to contemplate an idea, how much of the idea would you contemplate? That's a better question, because it's more accurate. It's more in line with the what's going on experience. If you were to contemplate why something is difficult as God, you don't get the answer. God already knows what the answer is. It's because of your own contemplation of difficulty. You experience it more difficultly. You experience more of difficulty. What God lights up. And if God is lighting up, you are lighting up difficulty, the questioning of difficulty. That's what is getting lit up. The answer doesn't get lit up. What lights up is the answer, because what you are being is what you are seeing. So while the story itself is not reality, you are experiencing that story as reality or as God. Now, if we go back to the idea of multiple films or realities, I wonder if it is difficult. Is not the 3D self contemplating which one is real? Because if you were to really think about it, why did you even consider that 3D was real in the first place? Well, we just suddenly considered that this solidity and its continuation is real. But we can't feel the solidity of the next moment because it hasn't presented itself physically yet. But we have an idea that more often than not, the things that we are considering to just be there over and over will solidly be there until they are not, and then we get really confused. And we can't consider the past solid, but we have an idea, well, this should have come from somewhere, and I'm assuming it is that past, so it's real even though it's intangible. So the belief isn't that we believed the 3D story is more real or greater reality. It is that we believed our belief that the 3D story was greater or more like reality. But here's the thing. What if none of them were greater? It's you as reality experiencing yourself as reality, and then as that question, the story of I am questioning it. So this replaces with, if God were to contemplate the idea of I am questioning this, would you as God understand the answer? Because Why would you need to do that? You are the one that created the question. You obviously created the answer as well. You wouldn't need to contemplate the answer. If you wanted to know the answer, you would just know the answer. So what are you doing? You're knowing the question. That's what God does. That's what God is. It is knowing itself as whatever it is and has decided to know itself as. God is only ever knowing itself as what it is currently contemplating itself to now be. It's not contemplating the answer of what it is asking. God never asks. God just is. So even the idea of a question is God not asking the question. It is God lighting up the experiencing of asking the question. Because we have to have a question if we have some sort of reality that is an answer. But it doesn't work like I'm lighting up a question to get the answer. If you're lighting up curiosity of wanting to know the answer, of knowing the answer is within you, and you choosing to know yourself as the answer, that's different. Now, the story of is it more difficult brings forth the people, events, and circumstances that relate to this idea, as if it were true. But behind everything, behind it is the source of it, you. So if you are watching a movie, realizing there's just billions of effects going on in every part of the screen, in every part of the 3D moment, it's because of the contemplation of whatever the story of it is. If you're watching a horror movie, you are watching it to be and feel the feeling of watching a horror movie, being afraid, being scared, being jumpy and skittish and suspenseful. You aren't watching a horror movie to show you why you shouldn't be scared. When you're watching an action movie, you want to go with the action. You aren't watching an action movie to say why action is bad or shouldn't be shown. If you're watching a romantic movie, you aren't watching a romantic movie to be bored by romance. You're watching to be taken by the feeling. If you're watching a comedy, you're assuming that you're going to be laughing at the movie, laughing with the characters, at the characters. You aren't going there to figure out how to have made the characters better so they didn't get into whatever situation they were getting into. You see, when you contemplate a story, an idea, you get more of the contemplation of the idea itself. You aren't trying to figure it out. Even when you contemplate, I'm trying to figure it out, it's more contemplation of what am I trying to continuously figure out, not actually figuring it out. Moving the assumption that I already know all this, I'm allowing it to come forth because that's my desired experience, knowing it. And that's what your desired experience at the heart of it is, knowing yourself as source. And that's really what's going on. You're just shifting into more reality film reels that represent the story of is it more difficult? Now, you see the billions of frames now because you are contemplating an idea and because you are infinite. And if infinite or infinity contemplates an idea that it has infiniteness of, it seems kind of obvious as to why frames of billions and billions of ideas and experiencing flow through you in every single moment without there being any kind of gap in the continuity. Because all it is doing is showing itself the why and the how as itself, to experience itself, to know itself as that I am that I am. That's what it means. It means I am that I am. It means I am the one considering this thing. That means I am the experiencing of consideration. So I am wealth, expressed as my experiencing of wealth, because it's who I am now, who I now choose to contemplate myself as. I am love. I am the one experiencing love, choosing to contemplate myself as love. In the version of myself I choose to now be, as the identity that has it all within me. I am who I say I am. So the idea that one feels more real is only a story. Because how do you know which is supposed to feel real? You're making a certain feeling, the story of this is more real, and the greater reality feels like this, which is just source, more real. True reality is knowing that every feeling is reality. Because there really isn't a feeling that you can say is more real than another. You just felt it more powerfully and you're feeling it more powerfully in comparison in this now specific moment. But if you felt it after, you'd feel that more powerfully. So what are you always feeling? Yourself. You're only feeling yourself through another filter over and over and over again. And why not? Why not understand? Why not recognize, no matter what I'm feeling, no matter what I'm seeing, as the Course in Miracles says, see only love. That means the only way this could possibly be true is that there exists one singular total power or energy or feeling or beingness to everything, that it were possible to see only love, as in source energy. And everything is energy, everything is that same frequency, everything is that same idea. It's E equals mc squared, energy equals mass times speed of light squared. Energy. So no matter what, you can always get back to energy. You can always get back to light. You can always get back to mass. Why? First law of thermodynamics. Energy cannot change from one form, cannot be destroyed or created. It can only change from one form to another. Why? Because it represents what it is. Source energy, which can only be changed from one form to another. It cannot be created because it's the creator. It cannot be destroyed because what would destroy it? It can't destroy itself. It is itself. So it's only source energy. You see, as the 3D dominant focus, we automatically and unconsciously, most of the time, compartmentalize feeling. Sad, love, angry, happy. But it is all one feeling, regardless of which one is felt. So if it's all one feeling, none are greater. We've made feel the one of them greater in the moment, but only more true towards source, right? And your true beingness as love or as source. And reality is everything. In order to know itself as that everything, it had to forget itself, but remain as everything and remember itself to experience. Why, you ask? Why would I do that? Well, what's your favorite movie? Wouldn't you like to forget it completely and watch it again and feel everything you felt the very first time you saw that? And you're doing that each and every time. Favorite book, favorite song, favorite moment. You want to experience it again and again and again and again. Fresh, brand new. You love doing that. The choice of experience is your reality. So you are continuously manifesting in every single moment. Everything you see, think, taste, touch, emotionally feel are manifestations of this specific now moment. And in each moment, in each now moment, you must always be able to be infinite and feel infinite, regardless of whatever emotional feeling, thought, or circumstance is currently on. Because they are not the source of everything, they are the manifestations of the source of everything, which is you. There is no point in the movie where you have to keep watching. It is a choice. So the question of how, right? There's no real how, because reality doesn't have this self-projecting mechanism. It's just your own awareness, your own thinking, your own creation of it. Any time you think of a tangible how reality is being made into being, that's just another reflection of a way reality can be made into being. It's just coming into being as existence itself. There's no mechanism. It's just your imagination. What we call imagination is reality creating itself and existing in the way that it does with its infinite intelligence. Just imagine anything. How did that come into being? There's no mechanism for it. There's no memory of it. Just lights and spinning circles and planets forming and deforming and stars coming into being and galaxies in your mind going from the Eiffel Tower to the Grand Canyon to the Wall of China to sitting on the moon, whatever. It's all there. Instantaneously, no gap, no waiting, nothing. It takes you longer to get the sentence out than it is to imagine whatever it was you wanted to imagine. The knowing of it happened first. Happened so quickly, you didn't realize your entire knowing was done before you knew it. Because the 3D mind has to unpack the knowing. You see, the end of the sentence isn't where the reality happens. The sentence of you speaking, it was. The entire thing, when you started to know yourself, there's no gap, it's instantaneous. Now that same intelligence is your intelligence. The same silliness that you are, intelligence that you are, angriness that you are, depressionness that you are, whatever. All of that is you. is God. It's the one that you are thinking with, the intelligence that you're thinking with, the contemplation that you're thinking with. It's the same divine mind. No, but I don't know everything. No, you do. You're just knowing what's useful to you now, what you're choosing to know now. Your divine mind, while it is the entirety of God, source of reality, is also your specific, specialized viewpoint of that infinite whole. You experience your part of God, but God cannot be divided. You are still all of God. And here's why. If you are in a relationship and you are experiencing your specialized viewpoint, you don't want to be remembering another specialized viewpoint that's with you. Even if you know both specialized viewpoints are coming from one source, but sectioned itself to experience itself as love, completely loving itself. And here's this idea here, right? That greater awareness that just sees and knows and is everything. That's the Father, the Father's kingdom, the Father's knowing, the Father as the greater awareness. That's God splitting itself into more I am awareness. All one, all same being. I just split it up for the sake of it. It's all one being that's consciously now choosing to know itself. No lesser than the other one, even if it is smaller in size in the picture, it's no lesser. Then there's you as that same consciousness. You are that exact same consciousness being aware of making choices according to desires that you as your higher self bring to you as awareness to know yourself as that same higher self that knows itself as everything. And you are choosing. And that higher self, you, consciousness, is projecting within itself, all happening within itself, a film reel, a film strip, a series of frames where you have a physically projected self experiencing reality. You are that entirety of everything. You are all of it. You are the greater Father, you are the greater awareness, you are the higher self-awareness, you are the awareness of having choice and consciousness and imagining all of your lives being lived, and you are the one living all the lives, and you are the one that is everything else in the frame that is around you living your specific life. All in one go, all right now, all together, all happening at once in this eternal moment of now. The continuity you experience exists because reality is infinite. There is no gap between this moment and any other. Has there ever been a gap in your life? No, you may have forgotten a couple things, but no, there's no gap. Every choice already exists from every point in the matrix or the hologram. It must contain every possibility to be anywhere because it exists everywhere, because it is the existence of everything and of anywhere and everywhere. Reality can never block from itself, can never be blocked from itself. How can you block yourself from yourself? So try to block your hand from your own foot. You can't do it. You have to physically do that on your own. It is the creator of everything, including the perception of a block. Right? If you were to put shoes on saying I can't touch my foot because I have a shoe on, you are the one to put the shoe on. Right? But in consciousness, you such a silly example, but it's true, right? It's there. You know it's there, and you say this is who I am now, and you unfold that at that point, right there and there. Understanding this now, there are no dead ends, only the dead ends you create. Every present moment is just another experience within that infinite field, right? Just another shape. Reality can take and release anything because it's being everything. It's being the idea of everything. You are everywhere, everyone, everything, all at once, as the movie title suggests. It's a very good movie in terms of expressing how you are everything, everywhere, all at once, with a grain of and the way they express it's quite funny. But yeah, that's pretty much similar to that idea, but a bit more greater because obviously it's a movie. Reality is even greater than that. So, all the scripts have a set unfolding of experience. You do not get to choose the unfolding, as I said. Only what is unfolding for you by lighting up the end. When you light up the end, it's you as consciousness lighting up an entire live stream of who you are. Lighting up the I am exactly this version of myself. I am exactly who I desire to be. I have the exact past I desire to be having. I have this exact now present moment I desire to be having. I have the exact future unfolding continuously over and over from where I am standing right here, because I am the awareness of all of it. I am the creator of all of it. I am who I say I am, because in my reality, I am the only one that has a say. I am who I am. And you are you, and you are who you are, whoever you desire to be. All related to everyone else in your reality, because everyone moves and shifts according to who you are now choosing to be. And I am your host, Reese. This is Your Reality with Reese. Thank you all for being here. For comments, questions, shares, likes, subscriptions, feel free to drop a question in the comment section or send me an email. Anytime, I would love to hear from you. Thank you for joining the TikTok page. Thank you for joining the Facebook group. Love and light, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye.